Okay, this is online yoga with Via. Here's a picture of me a couple years ago when I was visiting the Frida Kahlo Blue House in Mexico City. I'm going to stop showing that picture. It's June 13th, 2022. I'm going to stop sharing that picture and put Kathy on the big screen. It's going to be our model. I'm going to spotlight her. If you don't see her in the big picture, let me know, or someone know, and we can help you fix that. We're just going to start the way we always do, lying down, supine. You may want to put a couple of washcloths underneath your head so that your head is not dropping back too far. Just watch coming into the room and watching your breath. Coming into the room, into the present moment, into your breath. Remembering why you came. Hopefully some version of self-love and self-care. I'm going to mute everyone but Kathy.
Oh, thanks.
But you could always unmute yourself if you wanted to say something, or if you can use the chat box or raise your hand in the participants box. We're going to start with vagus nerve reset. So bring your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers. And from here, without moving anything except your eyeballs, you're going to shift your eyeballs to the right. You can have your eyes open or closed. And wait here with your eyeballs shifted to the right. Don't strain, it's an easy movement to the right. Wait for a swallow, sigh, yawn, or gulp. And come back to center and shift your eyeballs to the left. And wait for a yawn, sigh, swallow, or gulp. Come back to center and do this 2 more sets, right, left, right, left. What happens here is the occipital nerve triggers the vagus nerve and moves it from a fight or flight stressed response, which is our most common response, nervous system response to life. We're always on the edge, and it moves it to a relaxing, restoring slow, calm side of the nervous system. So this is a useful tool whenever you're feeling stressed out or overwhelmed or want to slow down. And if you don't have a yawn, sigh, swallow, or gulp, keep at it, and it'll come. And now we're going to go ahead and do head ramping. So just stay here with your hands behind your head and press the back of the skull, the base of the skull, into your clasp hands. Press, hold for 10 or 20 seconds, and then release. And press again. And hold. The trick is to press the back of the skull into the hands and the floor, not to drop your chin. Your chin drops because of the press against the hands with the skull. And this pose movement is really good for, well, it relaxes the shoulders and the neck. And it is good for posture, restoring good posture, reversing text neck and rounded shoulders. Finish up your last one, your last head ramp. There's a lot of names for this. Katie Bowman is the one who calls it head ramping. And then just spend a few minutes digging into the diaphragm tissue, the tissue of the diaphragm underneath your bottom of your rib cage. Take both hands, make little claws with them, and then poke and dig and trying to relieve the diaphragm, which is our breathing muscle, main breathing muscle, and often gets stuck. You can use your hands, both hands on one side of the rib cage, or you can use one hand on one side and one hand on the other. Or go all the way up and down, from the sternum, from the middle, all the way to the outer edge of the rib cage. Get to know your rib cage and your diaphragm. And now put your hands around your rib cage, and we're going to just do about 6 rib cage breaths, just inhaling and exhaling. And when you inhale, you should feel the rib cage expand side to side into your hands, and it also expands from the front to the back, so all the way around. like a balloon. Do the diaphragm and the ribcage balloon out. And then return. Finish up, ribcage breathing. This is the breath that the nurses are teaching COVID patients. That's what I hear. And it is a great breath to improve the health of your lungs. We're going to stop that breath and do the classic hypopressive movement. This is for core and pelvic floor work. So you stay on your back, knees bent, the heels stay on the floor, but the toes come up toward the ceiling. Kathy, everybody bring your arms up, as if you're hugging a tree, and then flip your hands. Now your hands don't have to be, fingers don't have to be touching. What I'd like you to do is activate your hands by pressing them towards the ceiling, and then activate your scapula by pressing your shoulder blades into the floor. And from here, we're going to take 3 breaths, 3 ordinary breaths, and then after the last exhale, hold the breath in for 10 counts or as much as you can do. And you will feel a scoop in the belly, involuntary, and the rib cage spreads. So those 2 things will be happening while you're holding your breath out, no breath. So let's start. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale. No breath. Hold your breath out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale and exhale. Just let your arms drop. Extend your legs. Cross your right ankle over your left. Bring your arms up in front of you again. Where they're going to go overhead in a minute, but I want to show you how they're stacked. So the right leg is on top, but now you're stacking them with the left hand on top. And now take them overhead, straight arms. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to do it on this side, and then we'll switch over and do it on the other side. So 2 more hypopressives. This is a practice. So Mary's new, so sometimes I'm going to say some things the rest of you are going to say, oh, she already said that, before. But anyway, this is hypopressives is a practice that was developed 10 or 15 years ago in Spain as a counterpose to traditional crunches and to treat prolapse. It treats incontinence. It builds strength in the pelvic floor and the core. So in this shape, 3 breaths. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Hold your breath out. No breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale and exhale. Switch sides, everybody. So the left ankle over the right. The hands are stacked. And so the right hand is on top. Straighten your arms and bring them overhead. Keep them as straight as you can. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. No breath. Hold your breath out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale and exhale. So this movement, that the holding the breath, pulls all the organs back up into higher in the cavity. So as we age, a lot of things prolapse, can prolapse. It's very common. And actually also when we have in childbirth, there are some things that drop. So this practice actually reverses that. It's very powerful. That's why I always do at least one hypopressive in a class. The next thing we're going to do, and we're going to stay on the floor for the next 3, the next triplet, is you're going to need your strap. And let's see, you're going to need your strap and you're going to need a block eventually. But the first one is leg stretch number 1, is one of its names. You are going to put your right leg up towards the ceiling with a strap. If you can hold on to it with your toe and still keep your butt on the floor, that's okay too, but that's probably not likely. I just don't know, maybe Mary can. So here's what you're gonna do. You're just gonna stay here with your leg toward the ceiling. Now, if your hamstrings are tight, you might not be able to make your legs totally straight, and that's okay to have a small bend. Just stay here and breathe. Your left leg can be straight or bent. If you have lower back issues, you may want to keep it bent. Just stay here and take some breaths. Switch sides. So keep your pelvis on the floor. So the leg comes up. You can think of what's happening in the hip socket. The leg comes up, but the pelvis stays on the floor. If you don't have a strap, maybe you can find if you don't have a yoga strap, maybe you can find a bathrobe strap or a shirt, a long sleeve shirt or trousers, and just wrap it up and make it into a strap. I'm saying this because I see Vivian is wandering around her apartment. Maybe she's looking for something like that. Make sure you're aware of your breath and aware of your movement. What is happening? This is all happening at the hip socket. I want you to go back to the right side. We're going to repeat it, but we're going to add some Villoma breathing. And I want to tell you that this is, one of my teachers says this is the best thing for insomnia. This particular leg stretch and Villoma breathing. So here's the Villoma breathing, which we've done before in class, is you make a little teeny weeny, you divide your inhale into little teeny weeny pieces. So it's so take a regular breath first. Inhale, long inhale, and then exhale. And on your inhale, go, it's almost like a sniff, 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 but it's as many as you can get, you know, it's 5 or 6 probably. And then exhale. Exhale normally. And inhale, 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 inhale. To me, it feels like a little sniff. And exhale. And do that 3 more times. So you've done about 5 or 6 of them. And when you're finished, switch sides and do that on the other side. By the way, I want to say that Suzanne said she can't be here today, and neither can Leslie. So we're missing 2 regular people, maybe a few other regular people, but those 2, I know they told me they weren't coming. So this is leg stretch number 1 and Villoma breathing. I wanted to pronounce it the Spanish way, but I won't. So my teacher, Dr. Fishman, says that this is his solution for insomnia. And even if you do this before you go to bed, if you wake up in the middle of the night, you do this again. And I'm using this, and it's changing I still wake up a couple hours into my sleep, but then I'm able to sleep longer after that. So it's changing my sleeping patterns. Whenever you're finished, just set your strap aside and bring your legs down to bent, both 2 bent knees. We're gonna do something called windshield wipers. It's pretty easy. It'll be kind of a nice reprieve from what we just did. So all you're gonna do is your feet are on the floor, your knees are together, and you're gonna take your knees from side to side, right and left. And side to side you go. If you ever have tight hips, tight pelvis, this is a great move. It's easy to do. You can do it in your bed. You can do it while you're watching TV on the couch, except you might bump into the back of the couch. So maybe then you'll get on the floor. You'd have to either do one side and then flip to the other side of the couch. And you can do it at your own pace. And then stop. Now we're going to do something with this. It's similar to this, but it's a little more choreographed. You're going to take your brick. I prefer, do you have a narrow brick, Kathy? Your brick or a book, or you could even have a sponge ball if you didn't have anything else, but something so you can squeeze your inner thighs together. Your feet are on the floor. Your knees are bent. There's a block or something between your knees. And now you're going to actually lift your butt up and move it to the right and drop it. And now you're going to take both your legs to the left. So this is to allow you more movement to the left. Squeeze the brick, especially the upper one. And come over as far as you can. This is called Revolved Abdominal pose in yoga. It has a Sanskrit name too. Come back. Now, before you go to the other side, lift your hips and move them a little bit to the left. You don't have to lift too high, just high enough to lift. Now drop them. Push, be sure that you press on the brick. This is to keep your hips and your spine aligned. And I like it. It's an adaptation, but it's also, I like it because so many people have spines out of alignment, including me. So I like it because it's safer. I think this is a safer version of Revolved Abdominal pose. Come on back. Shift your hips to the right. And drop to the left. This is great for the waist. It tones the abdominal muscles. And just keep going side to side. So you don't have to hold too long. When you get down, it's kind of a nice stretch, but this is more of a moving pose than a holding pose. So the important thing to remember is to move your butt first to give you room to drop to the other side. There are other versions of this, but this is the one we're going to start with. Try to keep your shoulders even on the floor. So the torso isn't moving. The only thing that's moving is the femur, actually. Well, you might get a little bit of pelvic movement. So finish up. Come up to standing with your therapy ball. Mary, do you have a therapy ball? Or anything like that? Unmute and speak to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know that I have a therapy ball. I just have to look to see if I have anything like it. Now, a bigger ball, right?
Well, no, it's, the one that I'm suggesting is not, it's just a couple, it's, Kathy's showing you. It's not big. It's like a tennis ball. It's closest to a tennis or a lacrosse ball. I guess she went to look. So Kathy's going to show you her foot, because there are 6 places. The way I teach this is it's just pressing against each of these points with your ball for about, I don't know, 30 to 40 to 50, half a minute or a minute. And then moving to point number 2, which is in the middle, and then 3, which is down, actually it could be down a little bit farther, down by the heel. And then outside of the foot, in the center, and then inside of the foot, and then just below the big toe mound. So those are the places. I'll mention them again, but thank you, Kathy. But you're going to be standing. You could be seated, but standing is better because you have more pressure, body weight pressure on the balls. So you're going to stand, and this, you may want to be near a wall or near the back of a chair. Just in case. So let's see. So bring your standing foot a little farther forward, Kathy.
Okay.
So
Make sure you see.
Your feet will be almost even, I'm thinking. So the first position, oh, you know what I'm going to have you do before we do the first position is walk around and note and try to notice what that feels like, just walking around. And then you're going to walk around after. Someone remind me I said this. Walk around after and see if there's a difference, if there's some sort of improvement. And there's no right or wrong answer about this, but it's nice to make an assessment. So walk around, come back, and we'll start. Choose either foot and place the ball just below the middle of the toes, and your heel will be on the floor at this point. That looks like about right to me. And you're going to stay here and take some breaths. I could time this, but it might be more precise. I think I'll do a 30-second holds, but I didn't have time for that one. So go ahead and move to the point number 2, which is below point number 1 in the middle of the foot. And I'm going to start timing that. Just breathing and pressing and enjoying, hopefully. Okay, the third one is in front of the heel, in front of the calcaneus. Your toes are down on the floor. You're just in front of the heel of the bottom of the heel. Did you know that the heel is actually a bone that it actually has a little bit of movement in it? It's just,
Oh, really?
it's just amazing. Okay. Forgot to turn it on, so this is going to be slightly longer than 30 seconds. You could do this and benefit from it. Well, that's true of everything, but do this every day. If you have a lot of trouble with your feet or your balance, you might want to do this every day. Go ahead and move. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4. Go back to the center of the foot and go to the outside of the center of the foot. Place the ball there. Let me say that some of my teachers recommend, this is sort of for Terry actually, some of my teachers, Jill Miller has you rolling across the bottom of your foot with the ball. I don't teach that anymore because I believe what Emily Splitchell says, and she's a movement expert that knows a lot about, and a podiatrist, she knows a lot about the feet. She says pressing on these points is more useful than rolling. Rolling can actually create some problems. So roll across, and then move across to the move across to the inside of the foot, and still in the center. Press, and I'll start the timer. So I teach it this way. This is the Emily Splitchell way, because that resonated with me. So often I'm making choices when I'm teaching about what is the best way to do these things. And hopefully this class is made up of bests. The best way to do this and the best way to do that. These edges might hurt a little bit, actually. Last one. Oops, stop. Last one is up above the one just before it, at the center of the big toe mound, just before the big toe mound. Okay, stop. Mary, I want to know what you found. Did you find something to use, Mary? Yeah. Sorry.
Unmute. Okay. Yes, I found something. This is what I found. Can you see it?
I can see it, but not very well.
Okay, the light isn't on.
Pinky,
Uh,
a pinky.
Hold on. Let's see. Can you see it now? Let's see. If I put it this way, that way, if I bring you closer to me, maybe.
Not too bad. That's called a. I think that's called a pinky ball. You can get it. You can get it almost anywhere. Toy store.
Is this okay to use?
Yes, that's okay.
Okay.
Have or is it round and smooth?
This is not smooth. It's got like all these, it looks like the coronavirus model.
Oh, okay. I would say for today, yes. If you want to.
Yeah, I think I've got a ball to use at one of those courts, you know, one of those arm balls or whatever they're called.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, it's just like it.
Yeah.
It's just like hers.
we don't use that.
Not exactly like it. This is hard plastic. It's not rubber.
Okay. So anyway, I'm going to mute you, Mary, and say that that'll work. Well, I'm not sure how the little spikes work on it. So I would, if you can find something else that without spikes, that would be better. So I want to ask you if you will just stand, everybody, and see if you can notice the difference between right and left, between the foot that you just stretched with therapy balls, a therapy ball, and the foot that you didn't. If you're on a hard surface, you're going to be able to find it better, by the way. But so Kathy's at a disadvantage, but that's what she has, Kathy carpet, double carpet, I think.
I can tell. I can tell.
You can still tell.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do the other side. So the first one is just below the big toe and the mounds, the metatarsal mounds, just in the center. You're really working on the arch, the front to back arch along the foot. This is great for plantar fasciitis and other foot issues. And put the timer on. It's running. Okay, number 2, down in the center, very center of that arch, just below where you were. And just pressing in, and I'm going to start the timer. And then the next position, number 3, is just in front of the heel. So at the back end of that arch, plantar arch. And notice, where your toe, what's on the floor to hold you, changes automatically. So the toes are on the floor here. I forgot to put the timer on, so I'm going to do 15. Well, I've done, it's on now, but I forgot for a minute. So I'm going to pause it at 14. Okay. And now, after that was number 3, number 4 is the back to the center and the outside edge of the foot. Starting the timer.
I was wondering how much pressure you put on.
You can put your whole weight on there. Well, your standing leg is also holding your
Okay.
body. You can put as much weight as, unless it hurts. If it,
Okay.
then you don't. So we were on the outside of the foot, now to the inside of the foot. So if you can do this sitting down, but you won't be putting as much pressure on the
You're right.
ball. So inside of at the center, but the inside of the foot. This outside and inside is sometimes is very tender. How does this feel for you, Parvin?
It's okay. Yeah, it feels better because I have that ankle pain. So I feel like this helps me a lot. But I was wondering if it's for balance, I shouldn't put too much weight on it. If it's for arch.
It's both. It does a lot of things. Let me
Yeah.
go ahead and move up from position number 5. Move straight up just below the big toe mound. You know, it is this helps with balance. This helps with a lot of the nerve. It opens up, relieves tension in the bottom of the foot.
That's true.
That side to front to back arch and the side to side arch. So it does a lot of foot health. It addresses a lot. Now this combined with what we're going to do next is a really nice foot and ankle program. Hold on. There, we did it. Everybody walk around and see how it feels. And just make note if it feels different. You might want to put this in your daily practice.
I probably have so much tension on the palm of my feet that really hurt.
You might want to do it seated and have less pressure on your feet. But then so every movement we do is both a movement and an assessment, right? So now your feet need some attention, basically. And yeah.
But it feels very good.
It hurts and it feels good. Well, that's
Yeah.
Yes.
So now we're going to do the 3-way ankle stretch on the half round. How many people, if you don't have a half round, use a thin yoga brick. Yeah, so half round or thin yoga brick. This is my favorite ankle stretch. These two and the one I'm going to show you next in this series are some of my favorite footwork. This would be a really nice practice. So I teach in triplets, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so that maybe you'll embrace, you'll like something and remember it because it's in a triplet set. We learn things in chunks. So I'm trying to teach in chunks. This is the foot chunk, foot and ankle chunk. It's gonna Kathy's put the half round against the wall so it won't slip, basically. Although if you don't have, you could probably get away with putting it away from the wall, or and she can start with her right foot. The toes are going to go up on the round, the half round, or at the top of the brick, and the heel down. The other foot is out to the side, or it shouldn't probably be way out to the side. In fact, if I were you, Kathy, I'd move your right foot over to the left side of the half round so that your feet can be kind of parallel. Okay, so now from here, you've already gotten a calf stretch, but you're going to bend your knee, bend your ankle, not your knee, pardon me, soap in my mouth. It's because I really don't want you to focus on the knee. So focus on flexing forward the ankle. Your ankle, it will come forward to some degree or another, depending on your range of motion here. We're increasing your range of motion. The knee comes forward as well, but you're not going to focus on the knee. And if it goes too far, if you go into pain with the knee, then you make your ankle flexion smaller. So just 2 or 3 more forward flexion. Heels stays on the floor. And now, so after you've done that about 5 or 6 times, then stop and move the flexion angle to the inside of your foot. So you're still in the same place, essentially, but you're bending, flexing the ankle toward the inside of the foot. So just changing the angle of flexion.
I'm wondering, to see it better, hold on, I'm gonna move. I want you to see it better.
Well, let's say a different angle. So I don't know whether the subtlety is, so your foot still stays forward, but your ankle folds a little bit to the inside.
Yeah.
And when you're finished with that, then it goes to the outside, which is probably the smallest range of motion. So the ankle bends, the knee comes forward too, but it's the ankle that you're working on, not the knee. So it goes to the outside. This is probably the smallest range of motion that you have. Switch sides, everybody. We're running out of time. It's so sad. I don't know. I must have talked too much somewhere.
It goes by so fast.
Well, I know, but
This feels better. Ankle.
what?
Feels better in my ankle.
Oh, good. Better than when?
Better than ball.
Oh, better than the ball. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or harder, I don't know.
Well, it's a totally different. Yeah, we're working on a totally different thing here.
Yeah.
So I usually do I design a class that has 12 through 4 sets of 3, but we're only going to get through half of them today. But I don't know what slowed me down. We'll do the others next Monday. Maybe we'll do the whole class next Monday.
We need to switch.
Go ahead and switch. Switch to the inside. Thank you, Kathy. So this time your foot is moving toward, angling a little bit. So it's not the foot that's angling, it's the ankle that's angling. Foot stays, hopefully, forward and solid on the whatever you've lifted it up onto. And then last, out to the outside. And then walk around and see how all of that feels. And find your way down onto the floor for Yoga Nidra, closing the class with a 61-point guided Yoga Nidra meditation. I'm going to turn off my picture. You're going to lie on your back with your knees or straight. You could have your knees up on a chair. You may want to put a small washcloth over your face or a blanket over your body if it's cool where you are. I'm going to mention a variety of body parts or points in your body for you to turn your attention to, but not move. So this is what Yoga Nidra is. It's a practice of paying attention to your body. And I do want to say that if anyone wants my voice reading this, I want to say two things. My voice reading this, ask me about it. I do have an audio tape of this practice. The other thing is that my understanding is, well, the more you do this, the more beneficial it is. And eventually you might be able to do it for yourself, to yourself. So lying on the ground and moving through these points in your own mind. So starting with your breath. There, that's better. Starting with your breath. Breathing in and out and observing your abdomen as it rises and falls. And now bring your awareness to the center of your eyebrows. Center of your throat. Right shoulder, elbow, wrist, right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, right wrist, elbow, right shoulder, center of your throat, left shoulder, elbow, wrist, left hand thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, left wrist, left elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, spiritual heart center, right side of your chest, heart center, left side of your chest, heart center, navel center, center of your pelvis, right hip, right knee, right ankle, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, right ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, left hip, left knee, ankle, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, left ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, navel center, heart center, center of your throat, center of your eyebrows. This completes your 61-point guided Yoga Nidra meditation. Start to notice your breath. You can extend your legs and bring your arms overhead, stretching your body in both directions, trying to create a little more space between your pelvis and your rib cage. Wiggle and stretch, right, left. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Hug your right knee to your chest and your left knee to your chest. Hug both knees. And then rock to one side. Into a fetal position, using your bottom arm as a pillow for about 30 seconds before you get up. Otherwise, you might get dizzy. And then use your top hand to bring yourself up to seated. Find your most comfortable floor-seated position. I am going to cancel the spotlight. I thought everyone was. Well, I want to unmute everybody. Everyone can unmute themselves, I guess. Seem to have unmute on mine. Usually I do, I can unmute you all, but everyone should unmute themselves because we're going to say namaste together. And I'm going to put everyone else. Okay. Hopefully, yes, there you all are. A couple of people dropped off, I think. Bring your hands to your hearts. So just nod or bobble the top, the skull, over your top cervical vertebra, number. You're nodding, bowing, and we'll close the class by saying to each other, namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you,
Namaste.
everybody.
Thank you.
I'm going to stop the recording, which will be up on YouTube later this afternoon.